In this video, I'm going to show you how to build landing pages for your Frontly apps. We'll build this landing page with a custom header, a hero section, a section about benefits, some features, also a testimonials section, and a nice footer with social links and everything at the bottom. I've been building a lot of apps with Frontly lately, and I really love the platform, and you can probably tell because I've been sharing a lot of videos about it here on the channel. And ever since they added custom CSS to most of the blogs a few weeks back, I've been wanting to try if I can build an entire landing page within Frontly itself so that I can have a nicer customer-facing web page where users can read more about the app and potentially create an account. And Frontly is not originally designed to be a customer-facing solution. It's more about internal apps. But I've been building so many simple, fun apps that I potentially want to share that I wanted to just be able to package everything much better. So let's go ahead and see how we can build an entire landing page within Frontly itself. Here I have a rough representation of what we'll be building. We'll have our custom header at the top with the logo, a menu, and a sign-in button. Then we'll have our hero section with an image, some heading, subheading text, 2 call to actions, one for sign in and one for learn more. Then we'll have another section where we'll have 3 benefits with an image, some text. This one is alternating in terms of where the image is, and then this one is the same as the first one. Then we'll have a features section where we'll have some colorful icons and heading and some text at the bottom. We'll have a testimonials section where we'll have cards with the person's testimonial, an image of the person and their name and position. And at the bottom we'll have a footer where here we'll have some CTA. We might add some text at the top. And then here we'll have a copyright statement and our social media icons. A pretty simple structure that we want to recreate in Frontly in order to get our own custom landing page that does not necessarily have the menu for our actual app. I've already gone ahead and picked some images, created a logo in Canva, things like that, and uploaded all those to my Frontly assets, which if you click on your username up here and you go to assets, you get this admin assets, and you can also look at assets that users have uploaded. So I have all those like images, icons, things like that uploaded here. And I also have a blank page where we can start working. First things first, let's go to advanced on the page settings and make sure that we hide the navigation. We'll be building our own header and we don't want to show the Frontly navigation. We'll show it once we're inside the actual app. So let's start building our header first. I'm gonna add a row, and within this row, I'll add an image. Gonna make it size 200 and a height of 50. Gonna select the row again, and next I'm gonna add a row within the row, and within this row, I'll add a text element, and this text element, gonna say home, gonna be my home button, gonna duplicate it. The next one, I can say product, duplicate it, and let's say contact. Then I'll go back into the main row, and I'm gonna add text element here, which will be my sign-in button that I'll have to the site. This row with my menu, I'm gonna make it, let's say 750. I'm gonna select one of the text elements and actually want to give it some padding to the sides. So first I'm gonna switch it to heading medium because I want those to be a bit more prominent. And then let's just say 510, 510 as padding. Grab the next one and do the same thing. Want it to be heading medium and want it to be 510, 510. And the same for contacts, heading medium, 510, 510. I'm also gonna align all those to the center. Then for my sign-in button, I'm gonna style it with CSS, which is a pretty new feature in Frontly. First, I wanna change it to heading medium as well. I wanna give it a predefined size, let's say 130. want it to be a bit wider, center align it, and then edit the CSS. I'm gonna say background color is white. I'm gonna give it a padding through the CSS because I want the padding to be within the white space, and this padding here from Frontly is outside of it, so it's almost acting like a margin. 10 and 15 pixel. I'm gonna give it a border radius so that it's a bit curved. Let's do it at 10 pixel, and then I'm gonna give it a border of 2 pixels solid white, and the color of the text will be my green color, which is 006C47. I'm also gonna add a hover state. I'm gonna say and ampersand, so this is a way to attach the hover state within the same CSS style for the same element. And hover, and when we're hovering, I'm gonna say background color will be this 006C47. Color of the font will be white, and my cursor will be a pointer. And that's my CSS. We close that. Now it looks all messed up because it's selected, but if I unselect it, and let's go ahead and hit save page, preview, and see what it looks like. Our hover state is not working, and let me select that and check real quick. Yeah, I forgot the semicolon here, so now it should be working. Okay, let's refresh this. Now we get our button, and we get the pointer cursor, and also the hover state is working. Perfect. Now let's start fixing our entire header. I want it to be centered, so I'm gonna select this whole thing and center align everything. Then for our image, I'm gonna go to my assets, and I'm gonna copy the link to my logo. I can place it in here. Then in styles, I'm gonna say the border radius is 0, and I'm gonna say that I want the image to be contained within. I also want this image to be a link to the main page. So what I want is to show the hand cursor, and if you see here, it doesn't show. I'm gonna select it, edit CSS, and you see that there's no CSS available for this component. But there's a way to trick that. So if I select this whole thing, we can start styling it and also add some CSS that would ensure that this pointer cursor is shown when we hover over our logo. So to styles, edit CSS, and I'm just gonna copy paste that. So on the border color to be my green, I want padding from the top and the bottom, and I want to use ampersand, image hover, cursor, pointer. Okay, now if I save the page, I'm here and refresh it. Now see that I get the hand, but you also see we get this huge space. So let's go ahead and fix that. Come to the page settings. You see that I don't have any padding. So Frontly is taking the default padding. So I'm just gonna switch that to 0, and this should fix all that. Let's refresh here. Yep, now we have no padding, and we have our header at the top. Let's also make sure that our links here have a pointer cursor and are a different color. I'm gonna select this one, pick a color of FA, and then for CSS, just say and over on the cursor to be a pointer. I'm gonna copy this, close that, then let's go to our product item here in the menu, go styles, the same color, FA, and for custom CSS, add this thing here, and then for contacts, the same thing, on this to be slightly off-white, and custom CSS is when it's hovering, cursor should be pointer. Save that, and let's see how this looks. Yeah, that looks pretty good. You can make it like have a different color within the same hover CSS that we just did, but I like it like that for now. Maybe I want a bit more space here, so we can just grab this and increase the item spacing on our header row. But yeah, this looks pretty good. Okay, we have our header. Now let's start building our hero section down below. I want those to be really spaced out, so I'm going to go back to the page to advanced, and I'm going to add a block spacing of 125 so that the next block is way below our header. Then I'm going to add a new row. Within this row, I'll add another row where my actual content would be. And in this row, I'll first have a column where we'll have our heading, text, and call to action. So we'll have some text. We can duplicate that, and right below this two text items, we'll have a button. Then in this row, which is our content row, next to the column, we'll add an image. I'm gonna make it 400 by 500, and let me just grab the image that I have in mind here, copy a link, and paste it right over here. Now let's fix the alignment here. So I'm trying to get into the first row, and I can perhaps find it from here, but something new that they added, if you go to the page settings and go to basics, you can see all your blocks up here. So what I'm looking for is this row here. If I select it, I can then center everything within it. And then if I grab my inner row, the one that has my content, I can go to styles and say that the layout width will be 1200 pixels, which is usually what I like to work. I'm gonna grab the image and actually want a 25 pixel border radius. Then for this column here, I'm gonna make it about 700 pixels wide. I'm gonna grab this row and just give it some padding of, let's say, I don't know, 50, maybe 30 is good. Okay, then we can start working on those here. So this first one, I'm gonna switch it to my largest heading here. This I can switch to something like body to XL. That's pretty good. And I'm actually not gonna use a button here. I'm gonna use the same thing that we did here. I'm gonna use a text field. So I'm gonna select this button and delete it. And within this column here, I'm gonna add another row. And in this row, I'll add two text elements. So this will be my create a free account. And I'm gonna duplicate this one, and the second one will be learn more. Let's add some text here. Just use ChatGPT to generate text strings for here. So I'm just gonna copy paste them, and here we'll have some other text. Then for our first button, we'll use pretty much the same CSS that we used up here. So let me just paste that in here. So we're setting a background color, some padding, the border radius, the border, and making the inner color white. And then we're adding a hover state where the background color turns to white and the color turns to the green, and we have our hand pointer. Close that. And then for our second button here, I'm gonna go to styles, edit CSS, and add a bit of a different CSS. So we want it to be white with a green text and a green border. And when we hover, we just want to see the hand pointer. We don't want to change anything. I'm also going to make those heading medium, like the button above, medium. And if we save now and go to our landing page and refresh, we now have our hero section, but I actually want this to be centered. So let's grab our entire row here and center align everything, and our hero section is done. We can then add another row like this one. So we're gonna go ahead and add a new row. Within this row, this time I'm gonna add a column, because here we only had stuff on one side and on the other, and here we have to put things below each other. So this row, I'm gonna make it center aligned, and then I'm gonna add a column in it. In this column, first I'll add some text, which is gonna say benefits, and I'm gonna make it really big and also center align it. Then below that, I'm gonna add a row, which is gonna be my first benefit image and heading and subheading. So within this column, below the text, I'm gonna add a row, and in this row we'll have similar thing to here. So we'll have an image, and then next to it, we'll have a column. So I'm gonna add the image first, make it 400 by 250, and let me grab my first image, piano playing here, paste that as URL, and so on. Increase the border radius to, let's say, 25. Okay, perfect. Now I want to add the column here to the side. So let's go to page, scroll down, and see what we have. We have this row, the main row here. Then we have the column. Within it, we have our heading, benefits. Then we have a row, and within this row, we only have an image. So the first thing I want to do here is I'm going to grab this column and set its width to 1200 pixels. So it's the same width as what we had above. And then I'm going to give it a padding of 30 all the way around, just as we did up here. Next, I'm going to go into this row here. And next to the image, I'm going to add a column. And within this column, I'm going to add some text, going to duplicate it. And I have my two pieces of text. The first one will be my first benefit. And I'm going to change the side, let's say this one. And then this here will be body to Excel. Perfect. I'm going to grab my column then and make it 600 pixels white. And then I'm going to grab the row, make sure that this is stretched so that this is placed at the end and there's some room here. And I'm also going to format it in the middle like that. And this is my first benefit. So the best part now is that we can grab this entire row, go to more and duplicate it, and then go to more and duplicate it again. And the only thing we need to do is within this row here, we're going to switch the places of the column and the text. And that's it. The only thing left is I want to grab this entire column here that we had. And I want to make sure that first it's centered, and second, give it a bit more room between those, maybe even a bit more. Let's go with 75 or something like that. So now we have hero section, and below we have our benefit. Let me just quickly change those texts here. I went ahead and pasted some additional text and also added different images from my assets here. And our benefits section is ready. Now let's move over to our features. I'm gonna go up here and add a new row. I'm gonna add some custom CSS for this row, which is gonna be a background color. And I'm gonna center align everything with it, and I'm gonna add a column. This column is similar to what we did here. We'll have the title at the top, and then we'll have our features below that. So first thing for this column, I want to make it 1200 pixels, and I want to give it a padding of 30 all the way around. And then in it, I'm going to start by adding a text, which will be my large heading. Going to be center aligned, and I'm going to say features. I'm also going to change the text color to FA. Then I'm going to select this column and center align it. And in it, I'm going to add a row, and then within each row, we'll have a column. So a new row in here, and then within this row, I'm going to add a column. I'm going to center align this column, give it the default size of 350, and then I'm going to start adding. So first, I'll have an image for my icon at the top, and this image will be 150 by 150. I'm going to switch that to contain, and I'm going to switch the border radius to 0. My first feature, I'm going to use this icon here, paste it, and I have it here. Then I can just see the blue border here. I can click and select the column. And keep in mind that anytime you have no idea where you are and what section you're selecting, you can always go to the page and to this new feature that they added here. So if we scroll all the way down, this is our features row. We have a column in it. We have the features text here, and you can actually rename those. So if I grab this row and I say that this is our features row, then if you go to pages, you see here features row, which makes it even easier. So we have this features, this row. In this row, we have our first feature in this column, and there we have the image. So I'm going to select the column, add a text element, and duplicate it because I'll need it twice. I'm going to select the first one. I'm going to call it instrument tracking. I'm going to go to styles, make it, let's say, heading XL, and also give it a font color of white. I'm also going to center align it. Then for this one at the bottom, I'm going to paste some text here as well. I'm going to make it white, and I'm going to say that I want it to be body large medium and center align it as well. This is too wide, so I'm just going to fix it to say 250. And yeah, this looks much better. So there's not a lot of breathing room here, so I'm going to select this entire column. Come here, first make the item spacing 100, and then let's go ahead and at the top, give it a bit more breathing room, and at the bottom as well. Okay, that looks better. Then all I have to do is select this column here, duplicate it, and then duplicate the other one as well. And if I select the row that those are in, we go to page. Here we have the 3 columns, and if I grab this row, I want to make those breathe so they fill the whole width, but with even spacing between them. And now I can change the images and text here. And with this, we now have our features section here. Next, let's build our testimonials section. Gonna go here, gonna add a new row, gonna name it testimonials so it's easier to find. And we should have been doing this from the get-go, naming everything, because it makes it much easier to track where everything is later on. Make it center aligned, and within it, let's add column. And in this column, we'll first add our title, which is gonna be testimonials, and it's gonna be heading 5XL. So we're gonna center align it. Go and grab the column again. Underneath it, we're gonna add a row. And in this row is where we'll be building our cards for the testimonials. First, let's grab this column and make sure we make it 1200 pixels. Then we can go back to our row down here. So each individual card will be a column, and this column will have text and then a row with an image and some text. Let's go ahead. So first we'll add a column, which is going to be our individual testimonial. We can even say here testimonial, and going to make those 350 so that we have some room to work with. And also going to use show background, which is the default background that Frontly has. And in it, I'm going to add some text, which is going to be a testimonial. Going to make it a bit larger for the XL. That looks good. And then if I go back to the column below that, I'm going to add a row. Within this row, I'll add an image. Going to make it 60 by 60. And I actually used this tool called "This person does not exist" to generate some fake photos of people that do not exist, so that we can add some images here. Apart from being 60, I'm also going to give it a 30 border radius. And then next to this, in this row, actually going to add a column. And in this column, I'm going to add text, and then I'm going to duplicate it to have a second text. Also going to remove this item spacing, make it 0. And then for my first label here, we're going to put the name, Jamie T. And this will be, say, heading medium. And then here we'll have the position, be professional violinist, something like that. Then I'm gonna select this. I wanna make sure that those are center aligned. And that's my testimonial card. So now I can just grab the whole thing and duplicate it, go to more again, duplicate it. And the good thing here is that once we go past the room we have, it will just start adding them to a second row. So for example, we want to show 6 of those. We're just going to duplicate it 6 times. And you see here that they're not aligned properly. So I'm gonna select this entire row that has all our testimonial cards. And I'm gonna use this formatting that spreads them out. Also gonna grab this entire column here and center align it. Actually, I don't like how this space is more than this space. So I'm gonna select this whole row and try to just center them. And yeah, I think this looks much better. Okay, our testimonials are done, and the only thing left to do is our footer. So let's again add a new row and let's name it as footer. Center align it, and I'll also add some custom CSS, which will be setting the background color to my green and adding an overall padding of 50 pixels. Close that, and this is how the empty row looks now. Inside, we'll add another row, which will be where our content will be, and we're gonna set that to 1200 pixels. And in it, I'll add a column. And in this column, I wanna have some text and then a call to action. So let's start by adding a text element. I'm gonna add some text, make it the heading small bold, for example, and change the color to our off-white. And then I'm gonna just duplicate this text, change it a bit, and make it smaller. And I'm gonna duplicate it once again, change it to create an account, switch the size to, let's say, heading small bold, and then add some custom CSS, expand that. I'm gonna paste it, so it's essentially the same way we styled our button up there, making it white with green font color, and as soon as we hover over it, we want to make it green with a white font. Close that, and this is a bit too white, so I'm gonna limit it to 350, and now it looks good. I'm gonna select this whole row here, and next to the column, I'm gonna add a text element, and this text element will be copyright. I'm gonna use custom time format. So I'm gonna use double curly brackets to open, then say time custom for capital Y's, which is just gonna return the year, and then let's say music tracker. And now if I deselect that, it should turn to copyright 2024 music tracker. Let's make that a bit bigger, let's say heading medium, and also let's make it white and center align it as well. Then let's select the whole row again and add another column at the end. In this column, I'll first add a text, which is gonna be follow us on social media. I make it a bit larger and gonna make it white. Also gonna right align it and gonna go back to the row and go into this column again where I have this text, and next to this text, I'm gonna add a row, and in this row, I'm gonna add an image, and this image will be 30 by 30. I want 0 border radius. I want it to be contained, and we can go ahead and center it as well. Let's go back to my assets and let's grab this LinkedIn URL, paste it here, and now this is my LinkedIn icon here. Gonna go ahead and duplicate this image a few times, 4 times, then I'll go and change the icons. Okay, I switched the icons here. Now I can select this entire row with the 4 images, go to styles, edit CSS, and make sure that I add this end image hover cursor pointer so that whenever somebody's mouse go over one of those images, they'll see this hand and they'll know that it's a clickable link. Okay, let's select this entire row, make those breathe like that, and also center align them. And I think there's too much room in here, so let's go here and try with 10. Yep, that looks better, and maybe we can do the same here. Item spacing of 10. Yep. So the thing now is that this column is 350 because this is 350. But this one is much smaller, so let's go ahead and make this one 350 as well. And that way we can ensure that this is centered. I'm also gonna grab this entire column and align it to the right, grab this row as well and align it to the right too. And now we have our footer. Next thing would be to make sure that all those buttons work. And because we're using texts or images here at the bottom as buttons, you can still use them to open links. If you select one, go to more, here you have your click action. You can navigate to a page. And in the case of the sign up, just gonna select external link and paste this one here, which is my Frontly app URL /login. Save page, and now let's take a look at our entire landing page here. Okay, we have our header at the top. We have our hero section here with our call to actions, the benefits, the features, our testimonials, and also our footer at the bottom. And for example, if we click here, it's going to take us to the login screen where people can log in or sign up. And something really important that I forgot is, you see that because we opened this with our preview here, it's just a magic link to log us in. So even though I went to my settings and set my default page to be my landing page, if I actually go to just the URL of the app, I'll get the login screen. And the reason for that is that we forgot to make sure that this page does not require login. So when we're at the page here, access require login, you can switch that off, save it. And now if we go to this main URL, we should see our landing page. There's one thing that's really missing from our landing page, and that's mobile support. So if you open this on mobile, it won't look good because we used all those fixed sizes. I'm still experimenting with different ways to make it mobile friendly. So perhaps I'll do another video once I figure out a nice way to keep everything mobile friendly. Now that you know how to build a landing page for your Frontly app, you probably want to figure out a way to monetize your app. And that's exactly what I show you in this video right here on how to implement Stripe with your Frontly app. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in this video.